The Real Housewives of New Jersey has been filled with plenty of drama throughout the years. And in today's video, we're taking a look at the 5 craziest Real Housewives of New Jersey feuds ever. Let's take a look. Number 5. Real Housewives of New Jersey viewers were introduced to Teresa's younger brother, Joe Gorga, and his wife, Melissa, during the show's 3rd season. Melissa was added to the cast unbeknownst to Teresa, who really didn't like the idea of her sister-in-law joining the show. And Bravo's casting choice most definitely caused a feud between Teresa and her brother. The conflict came to a screeching halt at the christening of Joe and Melissa's son. After Joe Gorga thought that Teresa wished his son well for the benefit of the camera, he completely lost his temper and slammed his hands down on the table several times. It got so bad he and Teresa began screaming and shouting at each other, which prompted Joe Giudice to get involved. The two Joes had to be separated to keep them from having a complete physical altercation. Fast forward a few years later, the 4 seemed to still not get along. Number 4. After Teresa set up a healing retreat in Lake George, New York, another more physical brawl occurred for the feuding families. She and Joe Giudice go to this retreat with Melissa and Joe Gorga, Teresa's cousins Kathy and Rosie, and Kathy's husband Richie. Sounds like a great time, right? Not. Teresa was feuding with her brother on this occasion because she was involved in a rumor claiming Melissa was cheating on Joe. 2 counselors were present to help the families work out their issues. Now, during one of the exercises that a counselor suggested, an argument broke out between Teresa and her brother Joe. Again. Now things escalated even further after Teresa told Joe Gorga that he should side with his blood. He then called Teresa scum. Now Teresa went running outside to tell her husband, who had just escaped all the drama, to have a smoke with Rosie. Joe Giudice went back inside and told Joe Gorga to apologize, and Joe Gorga immediately charged into his brother-in-law. Juicy Joe and Joe Gorga have a vicious fight as Teresa frantically runs outside yelling, "Call the cops." Now Richie, Kathy, and Melissa tried to break the men up as the 2 counselors cowered in the corner, presumably realizing that they were ill-equipped to handle the drama at hand. Michael Corleone once said, "Never go against the family." But I digress. Number 3. Now fans may remember when Teresa began another family feud after being involved in yet another rumor about her sister-in-law. Teresa orchestrated a scene where a man claimed Melissa used to work for him as a stripper. Messy, messy, messy. Now Teresa just happened to be with Kim D when her friend mentioned that Melissa worked at the club. Now Teresa gets caught up but refuses to admit her part, which further enrages Joe Gorga and plants a seed for Teresa's future feud with former Real Housewife of New Jersey star Jacqueline Larita. I mean, these two just can't get along. Number 2. Teresa's feud with Melissa was on the mend when Teresa and Jacqueline had an explosive argument. The cast was at a Vermont restaurant having dinner when an argument, per the usual, broke out between Teresa and Jacqueline. An already defensive Jacqueline became intense after Teresa accused her of orchestrating Strippergate when it was allegedly Teresa. Jacqueline completely lost her temper and snapped at Teresa. Now you can about imagine that a ton of explicit language and a couple of hands thrown, fingers and faces occurred, and the former Real Housewife of New Jersey star even called Teresa an effing criminal and a narcissistic sociopath. I mean, talk about drama. Number 1. Staying at that same Vermont restaurant where the already explosive argument became a feud between Melissa and Jacqueline. Now, when Melissa didn't admit to everyone at the table that Jacqueline warned her that Teresa was going to sabotage her character on Strippergate night, Jacqueline let her have it. And I quote, "You're so full of fucking shit right now because you know I warned you and you used to talk shit about Teresa. You're a fake phony," Jacqueline continued. "That's what you really are. Phony. You are fake, phony, and everyone knows it. You have 4 nose jobs that you won't even admit to. Everything Teresa said about you might have been true." End quote. Talk about reading that girl for filth. Oh my God, you just had to be there. That was classic TV. My. But anyways, now it's your turn. What are some other Real Housewives of New Jersey feuds that deserve to be on the list? Let us know in the comments. And as always, like this video, share if you care, but be sure to subscribe. And we'll see you all at the next one.